Hello, my friend of silence. Before we begin our journey into the heart of the rolling mountains, where light and shadow blend in an eternal dance, I invite you to join me in a small gesture of self-love. Find your most comfortable position, perhaps lying flat on your cozy bed or leaning gently against soft pillows. Let your shoulders drop, releasing all the pressure you have carried throughout the long day. In this stillness, there is no rush, no obligation. There is only you and your steady, natural breath, like the heartbeat of the earth. Before we continue our journey together, if you feel a sense of peace in each story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your small interactions are like warm encouragement, giving me more motivation to create more relaxing spaces like this. Now, take a deep breath and let's continue together. Peace is not a distant destination, but a state of being right now when you allow your mind to rest, like a calm lake reflecting the starry sky. Our souls truly shine only when the ripples of anxiety are soothed. Inhale deeply, feeling the cool air enter your chest, and exhale very slowly, letting all worries vanish into the void. You are safe. You are protected by the comforting embrace of the gentle darkness. Now, notice the sensation of your body in contact with the surface beneath you. Feel the firm support, much like the way the earth graciously supports the ancient roots in the deep forest. You do not need to strain. You do not need to hold on to anything. Let every muscle on your face relax. Your forehead becomes smooth. Your eyes close gently like flower petals at nightfall. The corners of your mouth soften, and your neck and shoulders gradually become weightless. Imagine a soft, pale yellow light, warm like the early morning sun, beginning to spread from the crown of your head. This light is not dazzling. It is mellow and full of solace. It slowly passes through your forehead, calming wandering thoughts. It passes through your eyes, bringing profound relaxation. It seeps into every cell, carrying the warmth of peace. The light continues down to your shoulders, melting away all stiffness. It runs down your arms to your fingertips, bringing a slight tingling sensation and total relaxation. You feel yourself becoming lighter, like a dry leaf floating aimlessly on a small stream. There is no resistance, no striving, only a natural following of the flow of rest. Continue to feel that warmth spread to your chest and abdomen. Each of your breaths is like a small wave lapping against fine sand, rhythmic, steady, bringing serenity from the distant ocean into the depths of your soul. At this moment, visualize a vast space where the air is so fresh that you can smell the morning dew and the pure scent of grass and trees. It is a place where time no longer has meaning, where every step is a return to yourself. You are standing at the threshold of a lush valley where distant mountains are draped in silver cloud blankets. The light here is always soft, a jade green blending with the amber of sunset, creating a mystical and comforting atmosphere. In this state of total relaxation, you begin to realize that every story in life, no matter how thrilling or arduous, eventually finds its way back to silence. The light in a dark cave or the light in a starry sky both share the same root, faith and a calm mind. When you face the darkness with a quiet heart, the dark is no longer a fear, but a space for you to discover wonders never seen before. Let your mind drift a little further. Feel the light breeze brushing against your skin, carrying the clean chill of the high plateau. The wind does not blow hard, it only gently stirs your hair, whispering the nature's message that everything is fine, everything is happening according to its own law. You are a part of this vast universe, and right now, the universe is cradling you in the arms of absolute silence. Your breath is now very light, very shallow, like the breath of a child falling into a beautiful dream. Each of your heartbeats slows down, harmonizing with the pulse of the old forest and the mountains. You no longer feel separate from the outside world. You are the trees, you are the clouds, you are the gurgling water flowing through rock crevices. This relaxation is not just of the body, but a complete letting go of consciousness, so that you are ready to receive a new story, a new journey in your dreams. We will go deeper together into the space of light in the cave. But before we go, promise yourself that you will keep this feeling of peace all along the way. No matter if the story takes us to deep cave niches or craggy cliffs, inside you there is always a small, warm, and still flame. That flame is the guidance, your most loyal companion. Continue to maintain this state. The warmth spreads down to your legs, through the knees, to the calves and the soles of your feet. Your entire body is now completely immersed in relaxation. You feel as if you are melting into the mattress, becoming one with the silence of the room. No more sounds from the outside world can disturb you. There is only this voice, gentle and steady, like a wind chime echoing from afar, leading you into the land of wonders. Before we truly step into that mysterious valley, I would very much like to know your feelings. If you love these moments of relaxation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about your current sensation, or share this video with souls who also need a peaceful haven before sleep. Your interaction is the motivation for me to continue creating healing spaces like this. Now, close your eyes deeply. Let the image of the misty valley begin to appear clearly in your mind. We start to walk gently, slowly into the world of light, in the cave. When your mind is completely at ease and your body has found refuge in stillness, let your imagination gently open a door to a distant land. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast valley, nestled deep within the rolling mountains of the Great Plateau. Here, space is not measured by distance, but by layers of mist that drift across the paths all year round, creating a soft silk veil covering everything. In this valley, time seems to have decided to stop and rest. It is no longer hurried like the flow of the city, but becomes pensive in every breath of nature. You can hear the rustling of green pine needles in the wind, a steady whispering sound like the breath of an old forest god sleeping peacefully. Somewhere, from small rock crevices hidden behind green moss, the gurgling water creates a melodious, wordless music, so pure that it can wash away all the troubles in your mind. In that quiet and peaceful space, we begin to see 3 figures slowly walking on a trail covered with dry leaves. They are Victor, Isabella, and Theo, companions, carrying different mindsets before the great beauty of creation. Each of their steps touching the ground awakens a rich, characteristic scent of the forest. The smell of damp earth after rain, the pungent yet warm scent of pine resin, and the smell of life quietly budding under layers of fallen leaves. Leading the way is Isabella. She is like a small flame full of life, walking with the unlimited curiosity of a soul longing to explore. Her long hair flutters gently in the mountain breeze, and her eyes always glow whenever she encounters a strange wildflower or a soft strip of moss on an ancient tree trunk. To Isabella, this world is a treasure trove of secrets, and every step is an opportunity for her to connect more deeply with the soul of Mother Earth. Walking in the middle is Victor, a calm man with a face etched with experience. He walks cautiously, occasionally stopping to observe the map or check the wind direction. His eyes are sharp, seeing through the smallest details of the terrain, but deep down there is always a vague anxiety about the unknown. Victor is the embodiment of protection, a solid pillar for the group, the one who always reminds them of humility before the power of nature. And finally, Theo, the youngest, with the sensitive soul of an artist. He is not in a hurry, always holding a small notebook in his hand to record the slightest vibrations of nature. Theo's eyes sparkle with admiration for the great world around him. To him, every stone, every blade of grass has its own voice, and he's here to listen, to record the beauty of silence before it vanishes into thin air. As they move deeper into the valley, the daylight becomes even more mystical. The sunlight is no longer harsh, but pierces through the dense layers of leaves, creating fan-shaped beams of light shining down on the ground, illuminating the tiny dust particles dancing in the air. The space becomes more concentrated with the sounds of the forest, the distant calls of birds, the sound of squirrels jumping between branches, and especially the majestic silence of the towering limestone cliffs, standing there like loyal temple guardians of time. As they approach a large cliff, the setting begins a strange shift. The air suddenly becomes cooler, carrying moisture from deep within the earth. A strange sound begins to appear, creeping into their ears. It is not the wind howling through the leaves, nor the familiar sound of a babbling brook. It is a melodic sound, rising and falling, sometimes far and sometimes near, like an ancient lullaby, or the song of spirits residing in the darkness of stone and water. The sound emanates from a dark cave mouth, hidden by tangled vines and large ferns. Standing before the cave mouth, the space seems divided into two worlds. One side is the valley filled with soft light, and the other side is the deep space, containing secrets of thousands of years yet to be answered. The intersection between the mysterious sound and the quiet beauty of the setting creates a powerful attraction, making one both curious and fearful. This is the starting point for their spiritual journey, a vast, majestic space that is also full of tolerance. The distant mountains are like giants sleeping peacefully under a silver cloud blanket, witnessing three small humans standing at the threshold of discovery. This introduction to the space is not just about taking you to a geographical location, but about bringing you into a state of mind where all senses are awakened in the most delicate way. Take a deep breath to feel that pine scent, to hear that natural musical instrument echoing from the heart of the cave. You are there with Victor, Isabella, and Theo, preparing to embark on a journey where light comes not only from flashlights, but from faith and understanding. This space is waiting for you, embracing you, and leading you deeper into the dream of the great forest. Standing before the dark cave mouth, the sound became clearer and clearer. It was not a melody with a clear structure, but a strange vibration, a lingering band of sound, winding through the cliffs, sounding like the sigh of the earth. Isabella stood still. She no longer heard the rustling of the wind on the pine canopy or the birds calling behind her. Her entire mind was now caught in the stream of sound coming from the heart of the cave. "Does everyone hear anything?" Isabella asked softly, her voice so small it almost vanished into the air, but contained an utter amazement. She tilted her head, trying to separate each layer of sound. It seemed that the music came not just from a single source. It was the resonance of many factors, creating an atmosphere that was both enchanting and carried a hint of sadness. Victor stepped up, his brow furrowing. The instinct of a seasoned guide immediately made him feel a warning. He looked into the deep, darkness of the cave mouth, where tangled vines hung down like arms sealing the entrance. The sunlight, when it reached this threshold, seemed to be completely swallowed. You felt the cold air emanating from inside, a chill carrying the smell of wet limestone and the silence of millennia. "Isabella, we should go back," Victor said, his voice low and firm. "It's starting to get late, and we have no idea where this cave leads. The peace here might just be a trap of nature. We aren't prepared for a cave exploration right now." Theo, the youngest, also tightened his backpack straps. He looked at the cave mouth and then back at the sun-drenched trail behind. The contrast between the bright light outside and the thick darkness inside made him shiver. "Victor is right, Isabella. This music, it's too strange. It's unlike any natural sound I've ever heard. Maybe we should report it to the ranger team. They'll have specialized equipment to check." However, Isabella didn't seem to hear her friend's warnings. She felt a strange connection to the faint light emitting from deep in the cave. It was a soft green light, flickering to the rhythm of the music, as if a heart were beating in the chest of a stone. She turned back to look at Victor and Theo. Her eyes no longer filled with hesitation, but instead with the powerful faith. "No, something's calling us. Don't you see? It doesn't bring a sense of danger. It's like a plea or a secret waiting to be revealed. I can't leave without knowing what it is. If we turn back now, we'll wander without it for the rest of our lives." Isabella's determination had a strange, inspiring power. It crept into Victor's mind, softening the rigidity of reason. After a moment of hesitating, looking at his watch and the sky turning amber, Victor sighed deeply. He knew he couldn't let his stubborn friend enter the cave alone. He pulled a high-powered flashlight from his side pocket. A sharp click sounded, and a powerful beam of light tore through the darkness of the cave mouth. "All right, we'll go together. Absolutely no separating," Victor ordered. He began to enter. The first step onto the cave floor created a dry, echoing sound. The space inside the cave was vaster and more majestic than any imagination. Huge stalactites hung from the cave ceiling like giant crystal stone curtains. As the flashlight swept over them, they reflected into shimmering bands of color, from silver white, pale pink to moss green. Each drop of water falling from the tip of a stalactite created a resonant plink, blending with that mysterious music. The deeper they went, the thicker the air became, and the clearer the sound. They realized the music came from a natural system of limestone pipes worn by water and wind over millions of years. Wind from crevices on the mountain peak blew down, passing through these stone flutes, creating a giant musical instrument of nature. However, amidst that natural sound, there seemed to be a man-made element intervening, adjusting the rhythm in an intentional way. Passing through a narrow and damp cave niche, they entered a space as large as a natural auditorium. There, they froze when they saw a figure huddling next to a small fire that was about to go out. It was a woman with disheveled hair, wearing a worn and dust-covered protective suit. She was engrossed in adjusting a handheld measuring device, her face haggard from fatigue, but her eyes glowing with a strange passion. "Who's there?" The woman stood up, startled, her hand shielding her eyes from the sudden light of the flashlight. "We are hikers." Victor lowered the flashlight so as not to dazzle her. "Who are you? Why are you here alone in these conditions?" The woman sighed heavily, her shoulders slumping as if a burden had just been lifted. "I am Olivia, a scientist studying geology and acoustics. I've been lost here for 3 days. A minor aftershock blocked the main entrance I usually use. I've been trying to signal by adjusting the airflows through these natural rock crevices to create music, hoping someone in the valley would hear the abnormality and find me." Isabella stepped closer, her heart swelling with admiration and sympathy. She opened her backpack, giving Olivia a water bottle and some dry rations. "So, that music was yours. It's so beautiful, but also so sad. We heard it from all the way at the cliff." Olivia smiled weakly, taking small sips of water. "Thank you. I had almost given up when the last ember was about to die. If it weren't for your curiosity, perhaps I would have become a part of this cave forever." But the joy of finding Olivia had no time to spread before a powerful vibration suddenly transmitted from under their feet. It wasn't a slight tremor, but a real shock. Dust and small stone fragments began to fall from the cave ceiling. "Something's wrong, another aftershock," Victor shouted, his hand gripping Theo's shoulder to keep balance. A thunderous roar echoed in the confined space. A giant block of stone collapsed right at the path they had just entered, creating a wave of thick dust that made everyone cough. As the dust gradually settled, they realized a terrifying truth. The only exit was completely blocked. Darkness enveloped the group when Victor's flashlight was hit hard during the shaking and went out. In that moment, fear began to seize their minds. Theo's heavy breathing sounded in the dark. "Are we buried alive? Victor, Isabella, what do we do?" "Stay calm." Olivia's voice rang out, authoritative and decisive, though her voice still trembled from exhaustion. "Don't panic. Panic will consume our oxygen. I've studied the structure of this cave for the past 3 days. This is a connected cave system. There is an underground stream flowing below, and where water flows, there is surely a way out." Under Olivia's guidance and Victor's calm support, after he restored the backup flashlight, they began to use their intelligence to analyze the situation. They didn't try to push the giant stones in vain. that would only exhaust them. Instead, they searched for the change in the airflow. "Feel the breeze," Olivia whispered. "The wind carries moisture and the scent of freedom." Victor used his hiking pole to test the stability of the cave walls, while Isabella used her sensitivity to listen. She pressed her ear to the stone wall, brushing away the rising fear, and then she heard it, the very faint gurgling of water flowing beneath the limestone layer. Finally, they discovered a narrow gap leading down to a lower cave level. It was a challenging, slippery, and dark path. With courage and rhythmic coordination, they formed a human chain. Victor led the way. Olivia provided geological knowledge. Isabella provided emotional strength, and Theo carefully gathered the last essentials. They took turns crawling through the narrow gap, supporting each other every step of the way on sharp rock outcroppings. They walked in the dark for hours, with only a single faith in each other and in the sound of flowing water. Sometimes they had to wade through underground streams so cold they chilled to the bone, but no one complained. Survival had connected them into a unified whole. Victor was no longer just the protector, Isabella not just the curious one, Theo not just the observer, and Olivia no longer a lonely scientist. They were companions sharing a single heartbeat. And then a miracle happened. A soft silver light began to appear in the distance, piercing through the gaps of the cave entrance on the other side of the mountain. It wasn't the bright sunlight of day, but the gentle light of the moon. As they emerged from the narrow cave entrance, fresh air rushed into their lungs, carrying the taste of revival. They stood there on a high mountainside, looking down at the valley filled with the full moon's light. The distant mountains looked like giants sleeping peacefully under a silver cloud blanket. This space was strangely silent, with only the sound of crickets and the relieved breathing of 4 humans who had just returned from the brink of death. They realized that the true light was not only at the end of the cave, but had always burned in their hearts throughout the arduous journey. Isabella's courage, Victor's caution, Theo's sensitivity, and Olivia's knowledge had blended together, creating a light more powerful than any flashlight. They sat together on a wide, flat rock, letting the moonlight soothe their wounds and fatigue. In the silence of the night, they understood that life is a series of mysterious caves, and only when we dare to face the darkness with love and trust do we truly find a way out. When the last footstep touched the soft grass outside the cave, a feeling of weightlessness enveloped the souls of the 4 friends. The world outside the cave at this time was no longer the noise of the day, but a vast, poignantly silent space. The perfectly round moon hung suspended in the middle of the sky, casting a cool silver light down on the valley, turning the old pine groves into mystical shadows, shimmering as if in a fairy tale dream. They found a wide, flat rock where the night dew began to crystallize into tiny pearls on the stone surface. No one said a word to each other. They just sat there, shoulder to shoulder, letting the chill of the great forest soothe the scratches and the remaining anxiety. In this moment, the boundary between the extreme fear in the dark cave and the infinite peace under the moonlight seemed to vanish. All that remained was the wonderful intersection of gratitude and life. Olivia looked down at her hands that had trembled with exhaustion in the darkness, now covered by moonlight. She took a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice no longer the decisiveness of a scientist, but soft and deeply moved. "Tonight, I didn't just save my life. I found what books or measuring devices could never teach. The value of the connection between souls." Victor smiled, a rare smile that relaxed the lines of caution on his face. He looked at Isabella, who was still quietly watching the distant Milky Way. "Your courage was right, Isabella. My caution is sometimes necessary, but if we had turned back today out of fear, we would have missed not only a life, but also this magical moment. We would have regretted it all our lives for refusing fate's invitation." Isabella didn't turn back. She just leaned her head gently on Victor's shoulder, her eyes still following the faint green light from the cave mouth now partially collapsed. She felt her soul melting into this vast space. "Courage leads to discovery," she whispered as if talking to herself. "But nature always has a way of protecting its secrets. Perhaps that music, that light, was a test for our hearts, and we passed not by strength, but by trust." Theo, who had been silent all along to record everything in his mind, flicked open his notebook but then closed it again. There are beauties that cannot be described in words, intersections that can only be felt with the heart. He saw the shadows of the four people stretching long on the rock, blending together into a unified block. The separation between individuals seemed no longer important compared to the presence of a steady friendship, just tempered through hardship. In that space, the music from the cave had completely disappeared, replaced by the rustling of leaves in the night wind, the chirping of crickets from the distant grass. These sounds were no longer strange or scary. They became close, comforting like a lullaby of Mother Earth for her children just returned after a long journey. All the tension of the surge, all the drama of the aftershock vanished into the night, making way for a profound silence. This intersection was a gift. It was when they realized that within every human being there is a cave of their own, a place containing fears and unknowns. But when we dare to step into it with solidarity, with an open heart, the darkness will become light, They sat there amidst the silver cloud valley, feeling small before the majestic nature, but immensely large in friendship. The scenery, the people, and the moonlight seemed to merge into one, vanishing into the absolute serenity of late night. The night is late, and the valley has now sunk into absolute stillness, a silence that is not void, but the fulfilling rest of all things. 4 long shadows stretch across the trail as Victor, Isabella, Theo, and Olivia begin to slowly walk down the mountain. Their footsteps are gentle, no longer hurried or anxious. Each touch of the ground is a moment they feel the comfort of Mother Earth. The rustling of dry leaves underfoot blends with the steady breath of the black night, creating a soothing rhythm, leading the mind into the land of dreams. The moon above still shines brightly, silvering every branch and blade of grass. Looking back, the mysterious cave mouth is now just a faint, dark streak among the towering cliffs, like an eye of the forest closed after a long day of guarding secrets. The natural music has completely fallen silent, giving way to the wind passing through the leaves, a whispering, steady sound like distant waves lapping. All memories of chaos, of darkness and falling stones now melt into the space, becoming part of the distant past, making way for a sense of relief spreading throughout the body. In the mind of each person, that melodic tune still echoes vaguely, but it is no longer a plea or a sign of danger. It has become a lullaby, an affirmation that all trials have passed. Has that cave truly closed forever? Or does it still contain undiscovered physical laws, secrets of an ancient civilization that Olivia once longed to understand? The answer is no longer important at this time. What truly exists is the peace present in every heartbeat, every breath of theirs. Under the peaceful moonlight, 4 small humans walk amidst the majestic nature, their souls purified through the darkness to now shine brighter than ever. The lesson of trust and friendship is the softest pillow for them to lean on tonight. They realize that true light is not only at the end of the road, but lies in the way they held hands through the darkest stretches. An old chapter has closed with safety and compassion, opening a future of lasting affections and new journeys full of hope. Now that the images of the silver misty valley fade in your mind, let the sound of footsteps on dry leaves drift away further and further. Only the silence surrounding your room remains. You are here, safe and warm. Your breath becomes deeper, slower, harmonizing with the rhythm of the vast universe. A weightless sensation is enveloping your eyelids, taking you deep into a dreamless sleep where there is only absolute peace and the comfort of the night. The story of Light in the Cave ends here, leaving a gentle reflection on the power of will and the beauty of solidarity before you completely fall into a deep sleep. If this story has brought you moments of peace, I very much hope you will return to interact with the channel tomorrow. A like, a share comment, or a subscription will be the bridge for us to meet again in the next journeys. Thank you for listening and for allowing me to accompany your sleep. Wish you a very good, very deep sleep. May you find your own light in the most beautiful dreams. Good night, my friend of silence.